Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming, playing Age of Wonders Planetfall. So before I start this video, and I was thinking about this in between videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this video from the point I left off in the last one. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play on a little bit off video because I think I said quite a few times in the last playthrough, and I've realised that this is a lot. It takes a long time to get to any point with this, and that's not good or bad. I like long games. I really like long games. I like long games that take a very long time. I've got no problem with an almost endless game. That's good. So, but I know from my own playing that I've got Galactic Empire planets that I've got 130 something turns on, and I've not got anywhere near concluding. So, considering I'm not going to just play this one game on the channel forever, and considering that there's a possibility of 160, 200 turns, who knows how long it can take. It might take be a lot quicker sometime. There's no point in me just going through step by step each literally individual process and each individual move I make in the whole build up. So what I'm going to do is I'll play this, as I said last time, because I did say that last time, I'll play on from the last point, do a little bit more busy work on the surrounding areas. It's not really busy work, but let's just say it kind of is, because you're kind of mopping up and picking sectors. And then I'll play on a bit, not a lot, but just a bit, just to advance the game a little bit further, and so we don't just get bogged down in this kind of early part, because we've also played this in the playthrough I did before. We got to about turn 30, I think. So anyway, so here we are back where we were last time. I think I need to skip the turn because that one's not got any moves. I find this game very, it's going to sound kind of strange. I find it's almost like a relaxing game. And what I mean by that is, it's not like, well, obviously it's not a real-time game, so it's not like something like The Witcher or Cyberpunk when you're running around, even Watch Dogs Legion, where you're running around in real time shooting and being shot at, so it's obviously not that. But even compared to other turn-based games that I've done on this channel, like XCOM 2, Phantom Doctrine, Disciples Liberation, it's very relaxing in the sense that you can go through, and this is good and bad in all games. So what's good about this is it's a game you can drop into. I found this quite a lot. You can drop into it because it's a long haul. You can go through quite a lot of turns just moving around different sectors and beating weak marauders early on. You can just drop into it, play a bit, not really, especially until you're at the end game part, not really, or end planet part, let's say, because that's not really end game. The Empire goes on. You can just drop into it, do a little bit of exploration, maybe, check out, I'll show you what that is in a moment, check out different areas, build up a few research activities, build up your army a bit, and then drop out of it again, and you don't feel like, now there's no pressure or any kind of not stress is the wrong term, but because video games shouldn't cause any stress, although they do, but turn-based ones shouldn't. But there's no kind of immediate action, even with XCOM 2 and Phantom Doctrine, etc. Once you're in a mission, you're in a gunfight, and you can get quite, I don't know about you guys, but I get quite annoyed with myself when I put one of my operatives into a bad situation and they get killed, and I'm like, oh my god, that was so stupid of me. Or it could when the AI does something unfair, and they do that weird thing they do in all probably turn-based games, where they suddenly decide to concentrate fire on one person, or all the reinforcements turn up in the place where they never do, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. So this game doesn't have that. It's quite a relaxing kind of game. Anyway, so what that is there, that is a small anomalous, he said, get my teeth in at sight, which is part of the Revelations DLC. And you need a leader or a hero, whatever, to go there. And when you get there, and I will show you that if I can, but I can't because my hero is the other side of the map at the moment. You get a little mission, and then you get a continuing mission. It's kind of like it actually reminds me a bit of Stellaris. You kind of have to dig into something or bore into a hole or remove a barrier, and then it will say something like, okay, you've done that, do you want to do a bit more, or do you want to do something else, or do you want to leave it and take the reward? But it kind of works like that, and it, like I said, it reminds me a bit of Stellaris, but I think this is the Paradox game as well actually, but anyway. We also got research, I must remember that, so we'll do our research setup now actually. Early on, when I do these, I pay less attention to them because you'll end up doing them all at some point. Like I said, energy and research I put a priority on in that, but later on, when you actually start having major conflicts, and by that I mean with the NPC faction or especially the other players, they'll become very important. You'll think, I really need a stronger unit, I really need that tactical option, and then you'll suddenly really want to research a particular thing that you haven't got to yet very quickly. So, which I guess is the same in lots of games. So it's like in XCOM 2 where you really need that, what's it called? The special suit where you can phase through walls, which is very, very useful when you're trying to do a mission and you've got to creep around the back of something and it's got the grappling hook thing. Wraith suit, that's what it's called, I should remember that. And you've got that Wraith suit and you get a mission where you're not quite to that point and you think, I really want that Wraith suit, because then I could just send one of my guys around the back of the building and have them enter through the wall. Anyway, also makes them harder to be shot. So we'll just move our she's had a move, hasn't she? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think this game is a good game to, and this is again, everything is a personal experience, and I've played lots of games, and I'm one of those people that can get really, really into a game a lot and give it a lot of time. And as I found with some games, and I think I've said this before about different games, you find games that you really want to play all the time a lot. These games you kind of play a bit and then you think, and then there's games you come back to but not huge amount. And I think this comes into the third category for me. It's a nice game to drop into when you're kind of maybe slightly concentrating on something else a little bit, when you just want to kind of chill out time. You don't want anything you do to have a massive consequence. And you can always go back into, I'll just show you, you can always go back into, if you ever get a problem, although you can't kind of manually save, you can always, well you can, but you save over something else. You can always go back into one of these previous, also saves happen every kind of second literally. So you can just go back to one of the previous ones if you do something you don't like and change it. So it's kind of not a game where you feel like, I'm so angry with what I did, I'm so angry with the AI, so we're going to kill that and fight that now. We might lose somebody, one of our units. They're quite, they're stronger than the other marauders we fought, but okay. We did quite well actually. Our leader was the one who took the most damage. The matchups in this aren't always accurate at all, I would say. I mean, I think when you are fighting low-level marauders, it's pretty much how it looks.
Completed.
Yeah, we'll have all that. It's all good. We've done their quest. They'll be happy. Yeah. When you do the matchups against marauders, like if we were going to fight that marauder and it's going to say that's 300 and we're what are we now? We're going to be lower because we had some damage, but 665 our army power. That's going to be pretty standard. It's going to say it's a low-risk battle and we'll win. When you do things that are slightly more complex, say you enter one of the structures and they've got like an army that's say 1,000 power and you've got 1,000 and a little bit or a little bit less, and it might say low-risk battle, whatever, high-risk battle. Often that's completely misleading. You can do a high-risk battle and you won't lose a unit, and you can do a low-risk battle sometimes in those bigger stakes ones and you can lose everybody. So I wouldn't always rely on that. But like I said, the good thing is you can always go back into the loads and just load up from your last. I really should skill point her because. Yeah. Because we need to. So there's lots of skill points. Most of them are reasonably obvious. Some you can't quite work out what they're going to do. Some even I don't quite know. So the vitality is obviously extra health. That's always a good thing. This one I've decided to keep picking because I just think that sounds like a good idea. And those sites do appear quite often, and so I like the idea of getting more XP from them. What's that one? Yeah, you get extra health from attacking. That can be useful. These ones, close quarters, ranged, they're good, but I don't know how good they are. I don't know how much they affect everything. But I mean, you may want to hold back on some of those unless you're very sure you're going to keep your leader with the same weapons, because often I've done range and then I've decided, I want to give them a close quarters weapon, because sometimes you pick up something that's a lot better than what you have and then you'll think, I really want you to give them that. So counter attack is, that's actually useful. It's no harm in hanging on to a few skill points as well, so that's that, and we can give them a mod. We haven't really got anything. Miniaturized corpse processor. Again, that's also useful. It's one of our assembly specialised things where we can use a dead corpse to heal ourselves. So we'll have that. We'll have that, as they say, and we can use some of our. So we've just levelled her up a bit. Yeah, so we'll just move our, making sure we don't go into the Forest of Spiders. That doesn't sound very nice. I have a friend who's terrified of spiders. She would really not like that. Okay, we've done our move there. Okay, so we've got something to do here. So when you get to a certain point, and as you know, or as you've seen, or as I'm going to tell you now if you've not watched any other videos or ever played this before, the new leader hero units you get will come along. You don't make them, you don't promote them within, they come along. You usually get 4 or 5, that's the maximum, and it's always, I think it's always 4, and sometimes it's 5, that's what I found. And they'll come along randomly at different intervals, and so what you kind of will want to do is start building up army for them to be in charge of, because if they turn up and you haven't got anyone for them to be with, well, you'll have to build one because they won't be much use on their own. And it would be very risky to be sending your leader, your general, your hero off on their own somewhere, because if they get attacked they can die. So we'll start building a little army. We'll also want to start looking into building another settlement somewhere, and maybe forward bases. But the other thing with all those things is you need to have forward bases, you need to put your leader on the tile, and we've only got one leader and she's over there because we were doing a quest. So all these things take a little bit of time because you need leaders. We would like another leader actually. Which, again, back to what I said in the last video, would be one of the spaces are going to want something soon, so whatever, we know what you want. Well, we don't, but we know you'll want something. Everyone wants something. Yeah, that's one of the reasons it would be kind of nice if, okay, you've still got, maybe the limit was 5 generals, leaders, heroes, but if you could promote someone from within, and maybe you promoted a unit that's leveled up a lot, and then they would become one of their stats, or maybe their weapon would become the weapon of that unit, but you could promote from within. Maybe that would be a nice thing, because then you could have a little bit more control over when you have a new leader as well. I don't know, it's just a thought. I'm sure all these things would be complicated and they wouldn't all work. I'm just like thinking aloud, so I'm not saying all my ideas were great, and I don't make video games, but okay, so let's just do our other. That's the only tier 1 research we've got. Sounds nice. Arc discharge. Sounds cool. So I want to explore that, but equally I'm very aware that my my one leader is all the way down there. So it's quite a long a long way to walk. And again, often, and this will be useful actually, it's a thing to bear in mind, when you can pick and choose your leader, regardless of whether you're in Empire mode and you've made your own, like I said, it's good to make a good variety, or whether it's here and you get the pre-made ones. It's always good to have at least one leader that's got maybe a ship, they have helicopters, or this one with a bike which is quite quick, or other things like that, because they can move quicker and across water sometimes, and that will be quite useful. So we could go and attack that, but our leader is on low health, even if the rest of us isn't, so we don't really want to do that. What's in this sector? There's quite a few things here. There's a PSI shrine that gives us research. We might actually build a forward base there. I see no reason not to. Okay. So yeah, there's lots of things that there's a point in the game. At the beginning, it's a little bit tricky because you've only got one leader, you've only got one general, whatever you want to call them. There's another one actually that we'll see who that is. He's got a bike. That might be okay. Anyway, yeah, you've only got one kind of general. You can use an army without a general, and you can use a big army without a general, and they can win. But again, it's not like, and that's another really good thing, and I keep coming back to Total War, but it's an old game compared to this. And one of the things that was really good is when you had an army and you had a good victory, sometimes the leader of that army, even if it was just a captain, wasn't it, the non-general units in that were called, they could be promoted to become a general. You could even adopt them into your family, and I think that's an important part of it was a good part of that game. It was a really good aesthetic to the game, because then you always had the option to get new kind of family members and new generals, and it also meant your army wasn't just an army with like people dying and maybe they, you know, in this they level up, but I'm not really sure how much leveling up does. I think the mods do much more damage and are much more relevant than the level up. But anyway, so yeah, that's another thing that was good. So we'll probably take him because we kind of want a new hero. You can request another one, and we might be a bit fussy next time. Yeah, anyway, like I was saying, this game early on it's a little bit difficult because you only got one leader. Now we've got two, so that's kind of happened at the right moment. I'm going to attack that because we're there, and that went well. We'll get some energy, which is always nice to have energy, better than drinking an energy drink, probably more healthy. That's good. And what we'll be doing is we'll be sending him to wherever that, which is quite a long way actually. These things which are useful, I definitely recommend you check them all out. They're interesting, and that's part of the DLC. What I would say is often they appear quite a way away, especially when you're sending out your scouts. And the only thing I would say is, like, it looks very attractive. There's the spot I want to go to, there's the thing I want to do, but regardless of what the thing is, it doesn't really matter whether that's a really good dump of resources or what it might be. To get there is, you can see it's actually quite a long way, and that's not just annoying to travel because he's got a motorbike now, this guy, but also there's a risk of attack. You don't know what all these things are. There will be marauders, probably that one is. There'll be marauders all over the place, and you don't want to be sending your leader, and you're making a new unit, so a leader with one unit across there, because that will still be not over level to fight, you know, a normal basic marauder army. So be a bit wary of just rushing out to go and do those things with any leader, because they can die and the units can die and they all cost resources to make, and Okay, let's see what the spacers want. By the way, I'm scrolling that using the left hand up down keys. That's how you square up and down on the messages and the info. Of course they want something. What do they want? Units slain. There's quite a few different things that these these different factions want. And one is they sometimes want you to go and fight a battle. That's actually usually, well, it depends on what part of the game it is. That can be easy early on because they're usually not that high levels and you're not fighting anybody else. It's useful to level up your leader, useful to level up your units, and if you've not played the game, it's useful to practice. But later on, when you're fighting other units, it's just annoying to have to keep doing that. They also sometimes want you to do research for them, which again, early on, that can be fine, but later on you don't want to type your research doing that when you could be researching your own things. And then the other things they want are resources. Again, it depends how much you've got and how much they want. And the fourth thing they want is sometimes they want sectors, and that's always the least thing you want to give them because it's no return. If you do a mission, you can get leveled up. If you give them if you do research, you haven't really lost anything except a little bit of time. If you give them resources, you can usually make them back quickly, but if you give them a sector, then it's gone. And also I'd say that we'll do that because it's not much. But also I'd say that when you look at that sector thing, when they want sectors, always check where the sectors are as well and who they are. Because there's a sector, I think what's it called? It's the life sector, something like that. And they're kind of plants that want to grow things everywhere. I haven't hopefully not got them in this game, they're very annoying. And their plan is to regrow life everywhere. So if they want a sector, and even if they're not wanting a sector, even if they're just there, they can start growing their fertile land right into the middle of your sector. And so they, for example, wanted that sector, then that would really put a dampener on, our joining up our empire. And then they'll just keep expanding theirs. So some sectors are a bit more aggressive with what they do. The Spacers and the Paragon just have a sector and you've given it to them and that's just like, okay, we'll have that sector. But some of them actually want to do something with it and that's much more problematic. So it's all a learning curve. There's lots of things to learn about the different NPC factions. So we can't go any further. Like I said, we can move him and he'll probably go quite a long way. But I'm not going to send him on his own because let's just click on him. And his army power is weak, 185. It's not a game where in any circumstance your single leader on his own, on her own, on their own is ever going to be a really good option. Because they never get that strong. I mean, even if they've got loads of mods and they're really leveled up, they might be 300-400 if they've got a tank or something really good, a level tier 3, tier 4 weapon and a tier 4 mods and things. But even then, that's still only going to be a rough match for a Marauder army, a basic Marauder army. So they're never going to be what you want to send into battle on their own. I remember I keep coming back to this because it reminds me of it. In a certain way, I don't know why, in Rome Total War, sometimes you could just send a really high-ranking general in against rebels and they would absolutely kick their ass. Okay, they had horses as well, but anyway. So let's just finish that. There are many things to think about in this game, but none of them are really, I'm trying to think of the word. None of them are going to really damage anything that happens in the context that you can always go back and reload from a couple of saves back if you think you've done the wrong thing. Early on, not much happens that's going to really affect you unless you do something stupid yourself. So that's the quest for the Spacers over there, so we might as well go and do that. You'd have to make a bad mistake yourself, so you might decide to raid a building, go inside one of those monuments, like something, and then you might end up in a fight you can't win. But apart from that, you're not really going to be under too much pressure, so it's not got that kind of, oh my god, that's going to happen, oh my god, I'm doomed. But like I said, the problem with these NPCs, and you've just seen it again, we've just finished that, and we are now committed to going over there. Probably pick up that on the way. Once we've got a view on that, we'll see what that is. 480, and what are we? Yeah, we should be able to beat those, but yeah, now we've got to go over there. And it's a little bit, I mean, this is not about the game, this is just like if it was in life, if you take this as like a kind of real scenario, you know, it's annoying, these little factions that are, you know, not really doing much, they're, you know, they're just there to live, I suppose, but, you know, they're kind of bullies, you know, you need to do this for us and give us that, because if you don't give us that, we won't like you, and we'll bully you, and we'll probably fight you later on. So they're just annoying. And it's a certain point where you kind of really get I don't know, I do, where you kind of get fed up with them asking, like, give us this, or we demand that, and you think, nah, come on. So we've built that. I think we will build a colonizer. The reason I'm going to build a colonizer is because, one, it's always good to have another settlement, you can do more things, and two, I'm already aware that I want to have army for him, and I also want to have some higher level buildings, and I can't really do both in the same place at the same time, so we'll do that. What was that? Oh yeah, research. We've got a research thing. Again, that's the only tier 1 research we've still got going there, and in this one we've done them all, so I thought I did that already, but anyway, I must have pressed the wrong key, which is easy to do. I would suggest, again, like all games, there's nothing wrong with this game, the keys are relatively straightforward, but always check, especially later, that you're actually clicking on the right thing, because it's very easy when you're later on, when you've got enemies all over the place and you desperately want to do a certain move, or you definitely want to do a particular research, it's very easy to click on the wrong one, or especially like I've shown you in this video even, or the last video, click on your army, forget to unclick, and then move it the wrong direction. So with this one, we'll go and grab whatever that is. Looks like something 18 in research, 3 research is always good, and we can get that thing, which is 3 production material, so that's also good. Like I said, there's no harm in getting, or you can. These things are useful, they're much more useful. The 2 reasons you would get those is, as you can see, they give you bonus stats if you've got that sector in your empire, but we haven't, and we're nowhere close to where that is, so we probably won't have, at least not at the moment. The other reason is all these buildings you need to enter offer some particular bonus. It's often, sometimes it's resources, but I've often found it's a weapon or a mod, so they're useful to do anyway, but again, they're much more difficult. I can guarantee you, even with my main army now, which is, I think it was something like 800 power, entering one of those would be risky, and some of them are very high level. So okay, that's that. Well, he is waiting, and because I've got some let's just see if we can make any more. Oh, we can annex a sector, that's always useful. So get more resources, but again, if you annex a sector, you always want to annex one that's got nothing much. Got something that's got an abandoned quarry, and it's got, that's probably the best one, local one we can do. So we'll annex that sector. A Paragon faction demand, and they've done that on purpose just to show what I was talking about. Now they want some energy, and these can really vary quite radically. They can sometimes want very small amounts, you'd be amazed, you know, they really want very tiny amounts sometimes of energy. It can be energy, it can be any other resource, anything you've got, and sometimes it's really tiny and you think fine, and other times it can be massive and you haven't got that much, so you'll have to work out whether you want to give them it. And this occasion I've got 370, they want 45, and it's fine, you know, have it, whatever. Later on I will have to fight you and kill you, but for now that will keep you sweet. And I'm already doing another quest over here, so I haven't got time to be fighting one for you. hopefully kill these. And again, we leveled up our units. We killed all of them quite easily, comparatively.
Objective
And we
completed.
got some research. You can always sell the things you get, by the way. It says at the bottom square is sell, but I've never sold anything for energy. You can, and I suppose there are situations where there are situations. Actually, that's a lie. There's situations where you might pick up a weapon or something like that. Maybe it would be a helicopter or a vehicle or something, and you've already got, later on you'll already have quite a few of them, or it's something lower level than what you're ever going to use, and then you probably do best selling it. Because you won't ever use, once you've got higher, you won't use, the one thing about this game is because you only have a limited amount of heroes, you won't ever use some of the weapons from a lower level once you start getting higher tier level ones. Vehicles are a bit different because the vehicle can be destroyed but the hero can live. So if you're in a battle and your hero is in a vehicle, actually that vehicle on the left will be an example, and they're in there and the vehicle gets destroyed, your hero will still be alive. So sometimes it's worth having spare vehicles. And another thing is, if you have a hero in a vehicle, I would always advise you to give them a secondary weapon, because then if the vehicle is destroyed in combat, they have something they can use to fight. If they haven't got a secondary weapon, they're just standing there with nothing much they can do. So, or give them a good healing thing that they can heal other people, or something useful. So we'll take care of it all, we won't sell that. We'll head back a bit, I think, although we can't do that yet anyway. Oh, we've got more research.
One of my
Okay, we've got our arc discharge, and now we will think arc blaster. That sounds good. No, I don't really care much. Yeah, we'll have that one. But like I said, even though I played this quite a bit, and I played this faction assembly quite a bit, and with Void Tech, I still can't say this is the best tech or this is the thing to go for, because they all have different benefits, and it depends how the story pans out, which one will be the one that will be useful. Who have we got? We've got that over there. Oh, I didn't mean to go there, that was wrong. Wrong. If you have your scouts, avoid putting them right next to, as I did, right next to a marauder, because the marauder will probably attack you, and anything will kill our scout because they're power 80, so they've got no chance. Ideally, I'd like to keep them there just to watch this site, because I've not seen yet, and I've only got this Revelations DLC recently, but I'm not sure whether these are just for me, or whether the other players can come and take them. And I've never got to that stage of seeing one, because when I've seen them I've always got the ones I saw. I'm assuming they might have got their own ones, so maybe they can, so it's always worth keeping an eye on what happens there. So that's that, and we've got this one, and again we're just sending these off, you know, because I'd always check these now to pick up things as much as to check the area. We'll have that, that's useful. But as you can see, and that's what I said at the beginning of the video, that the reason I'm not going to just play through literally each turn and each video, come back to the same point again, is because we've already done that in the first series of videos. If you want to watch building from like opening turn to maybe 40 turns in, then watch the first series of videos I did on this game. But I'm not going to do that again, because it will just take too long, and I don't want to end up playing one game only. So we've got a colonizer, which is obviously what it is, a colonizer. That looks quite like a nice place to colonise. And like I said, you can never colonise the next sector, so we'll go that way and see what there is up there. Colonisers actually move quite fast. So that's still adjacent, so we can't put a colony there, but we'll go that direction and see what we can do. Him, because he's just waiting for when we make a bigger army, we'll probably see if we can add a forward base there to kind of expand our sectors. And we haven't got another coloniser, we kind of still want to build up his army. Yeah, because he's going to have to go up there to that anomaly and investigate that at some point. We have got an unexploited sector, which doesn't mean we haven't built anything on it yet. That was the one with energy and industry. I will pick energy because I've always found energy to be the one we run out of the quickest. When you've got more sectors and more colonies, you can you'll find ones that are obviously, some will be near the river and there'll be more food options, and you'll be find ones in forest and there'll be more food options, and you'll really kind of but you'll want to give those priority, because if you've got a sector that's basically good for food and research, you'll want to give it one of those two. But early on, I would say concentrate on energy and research. Unless the game suddenly tells you you're running out of food or industry, which has never actually happened yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do, as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm going to end this video now before it becomes super long. And the things I want to do in this video are going to take a little, or in this kind of next up kind of things I want to show you are things that are going to take a little bit of time to get to. So I'll just play on a little bit, and what I'm basically going to do is I'll play on off video. I'll just get this leader to a point where they've got maybe a couple more units, so they can head up to there and look at that anomaly. And I'll start another colony somewhere up there. I may not start it, I may just find a place to start one. But I'll just move on maybe by 5 or 6 turns before the next video. But anyway, thanks for watching. From me and from Guessagaingaming. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.